San Antonio, home of the San Antonio Spurs. They have a great history with NBA legends such as Tim Duncan and David Robinson, but with who they drafted here in the 2023 NBA draft, a whole new era is upon us. Victor Wembanyama was drafted first by the San Antonio Spurs this offseason here. With all the hype surrounding him, we now have a chance to see heading into next season if Victor can sustain the hype and truly become a cornerstone and next NBA legend for the San Antonio Spurs. And we're going to find all of this out here in NBA 2K24. Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's KG Presents back at with another video, and today I'm here in NBA 2K24. That's right, here with the San Antonio Spurs. So of course here, we're going to be starting up our franchise mode with the San Antonio Spurs with the man himself, Victor Wembanyama. Obviously this is his first NBA season here, he's yet to play an NBA game yet in his actual career. We're going to simulate that first very soon. That's going to be the next episode, so I want you to make sure you guys stay tuned and check that one out soon. Victor, of course, is set to turn the Spurs franchise around. The Spurs have not been very good the past few seasons at all. And Victor Wembanyama is here now with the first overall pick in the draft, and he has a big time potential to become an amazing player here for the San Antonio Spurs. But this is all not about Victor though. Only one player on a team cannot win an NBA championship. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over some of these other players here on the San Antonio Spurs. We're going to talk about these other players briefly here into more depth and detail. I'm not going to be making any trades here right away, but I'm going to let you guys know some players that I do expect to trade. First player here, Devin Vassell. We are not going to be trading him. Devin Vassell, I think, is a very important addition here on the Spurs. He averaged 18 points a game last year, which is absolutely incredible. He also shot 39% from three, which is very good as well. He's only 23 years old, heading into his fourth season, and I think it'd be a big cornerstone piece here for the San Antonio Spurs going forward. Next up, we have Keldon Johnson. He signed a 4-year, $74 million contract with them. Obviously, last year, 22 points, 5 rebounds. The efficiency wasn't the best, especially from three. Especially, I had him on my fantasy roster, and sometimes there's actually a game where he did not do very good at all. But the thing is, Keldon Johnson's still very young, very solid, and he's one of the other players that I'm excited to play with here for this upcoming Spurs franchise mode. Next up, we have Trey Jones, point guard. He's the brother of Tyus Jones, and he's another player I'm very excited with. He also is going to be in the very safe category. A whole bunch of players here on the San Antonio Spurs are quite young, and I want to make sure that I keep this core group of guys together here, especially with the man himself, Victor. And hopefully we are going to build a dynasty. Zach Collins here could potentially be traded, potentially not. I think Zach Collins is a very solid player, but the thing is, the fact he's had some injury issues on his career, but you know, that's what it is. Another exciting one is Jeremy Sochan. Sochan had a great rookie season last year for the Spurs. He averaged 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2.5 assists a game, and I only expect him to build upon that next season. So, which is why I'm very excited for him to be a part of this roster. Malachi Branham, I'm also very excited to use here on the Spurs team. I just want to see how these guys can roll together. I think if I keep the core of this team together mostly, then things are going to do very well in the future. Obviously, I'm not subject to saying that they're forever going to be safe, because if it's a couple seasons from now, and I potentially could trade them. You never know what's going to happen. But the thing is, if I think to keep the core group guys together, they develop as they should, and I think the Spurs are going to be pretty good. Reggie Bullock, they got from the Mavericks here this offseason. He's a free agent after this year, so no matter what happens, whether he gets traded or I just let him walk in free agency, he's not going to be part of the team next year. Cameron Payne, they also trade for in this offseason. He also is the same rules applies as Reggie Bullock. He's not going to be part of the team next year. I think I'd rather just let him go, let all these young guys play, and potentially we're probably not going to be good again this year, so that means we're going to get another good pick heading into next season. Devontae Graham, I do like Devontae Graham, but you know, he's on a very expensive contract. I'm not really a big fan of that at all, but we're going to hopefully see he's going to do well. Cedi Osman, I do think is a very solid player, and I'm actually kind of shocked that the Cavs moved on from him, but I understand why, because they're trying to create some cap room for Max Strus, who they just signed to a contract in a sign and trade with Miami Heat as well. And Cedi Osman, I think, is pretty solid. I think he can stay off the bench for us and do okay. I don't have any issues with that, but you know, if he walks, he walks. It's not like losing anything too crazy here. Charles Bassey is pretty solid, 3 years, $7.7 million contract. I actually would prefer to keep Charles Bassey here, and I think he could be pretty solid here and be a very solid backup center to Victor over the course of this season. Doug McDermott, he's just kind of been on the Spurs for a while now. This is now his third season here with the San Antonio Spurs. I'm probably not going to do anything with him. At most, he's going to subject to the other ones, as in he's going to have potentially he'll be traded at the deadline, or I'm just going to let him walk in free agency. Blake Wesley is a very young player here. This is now his second season in the NBA, and I'm going to hopefully get him some run here off the bench, and hopefully he can improve. Sandro, I actually think is pretty solid too, and I think when he did decent at the end of the year, obviously when all the starters were out, and he could potentially prove to be a piece here for the Spurs. And so we're gonna head to the rotation here rather quickly. Gonna run a 9-man. We're gonna run a 9-man rotation here. We have a great coach, obviously, and I think the Victor, Greg Popovich dynamic duo could be very, very good for them. But in the meantime, here's the lineup that we'll be rocking with this season. We're gonna have Tre Jones at point guard, Devin Vassell at shooting guard, Keldon Johnson at the 3, Sochan at the 4, and Victor, of course, that's our man right there. He's gonna be starting at center, 37 minutes a game. Gotta give him plenty of time as possible. He's gotta make sure that he gets as many minutes in this season, and hopefully improve and start becoming the best player he can possibly be. Zach Collins is going to come off the bench with Reggie Bullock, Malachi Branham, and Cameron Payne. I think this team, honestly, is not going to be that good, but it's more of a developmental year for the San Antonio Spurs. Something I do like to tamper around with as well is the player mentorship thing. Obviously, I'm not saying Cedi Osman is like some big-time veteran or something, but he can provide some skillful badges here to Devin Vassell, and I think that's pretty good here. Victor's going to be learning a couple badges from Reggie Bullock. I know Reggie Bullock obviously isn't, the player that you want to most learn all your badges from, obviously. But I think it's still very important here, guys. Victor has to develop an all-around skill set. In order to do that, he's going to have to learn how to do many different things on the basketball court. We're going to be running a balanced lineup out there. Obviously, I'm not going to try and get too involved if we're going to do a triangle offense or any of that stuff. I just want to make sure that the young players on the Spurs roster, who obviously I'm going to be starting all of them right here, Tre Jones, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Victor, and Sochan, I just want to make sure they get as many minutes as possible here this first season in the MyNBA franchise, and make sure that they can become the best players they can possibly be. Our first game's up next video against the Dallas Mavericks against Luka Doncic and Kyrie. Hopefully Victor can do well in his NBA debut. That concludes today's video. Hopefully you all are excited here for this upcoming MyNBA franchise with the San Antonio Spurs. Next episode we're going to be doing the NBA debut of Victor Wembanyama, so stay tuned for that. I'll see you next time, and hopefully things turn out pretty well. Next time we'll be doing Victor's NBA debut, so be sure to stay tuned for that. If you all enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, subscribe for future content. Have a good day. Happy 2K Day to those who celebrate.